Hi, this is Kevin with MADDYSystem.com. With our MOWG SEO service, we specialize in improving Google rank for websites by helping them achieve first page ranking for multiple variations of their main targeted keyword phrase. If I go to Google and type in a phrase like Forex software, which I don't know much about personally, but I do know that it's a highly competitive keyword phrase on Google, and I can tell that just by looking at the search results. This number here tells me that Google has indexed just under 60 million pages on the entire internet that have the words Forex and software somewhere on the page. Now this is page 1, and there are 10 organic results showing on this page. This means that out of the 59 million pages on the entire internet that contain the words Forex and software, these are the 10 pages that Google's algorithms have determined are the best matches for the phrase Forex software. And that is what we focus on, helping websites to rank on page 1 of the organic search results for the keyword phrases that target their market. Now what sets our MOWG SEO service apart from other SEO services? Well, a couple of years ago we started to develop some powerful strategies that imitate some of the largest websites on the internet, sites like Amazon.com, Wikipedia, and eBay. Sites that Google's algorithms give preference to because they are authority sites. Sites with thousands upon thousands of unique and relevant pages on their website. Now, there are different types of authority sites. Wikipedia, for instance, doesn't have thousands of pages about any one single topic. What they have is one or more unique pages about thousands of different topics. But what we realized was that at the other end of the spectrum, if one website were to have thousands of unique pages about red bicycles, for example, it would be considered an authority site about red bicycles. And through extensive testing, we confirmed that a major criteria for achieving authority site status for a particular topic is indeed the sheer volume of pages a site has about that particular topic. But here's the catch. All of the pages have to be different enough from each other so that Google sees them as being unique and not duplicate content, which it will just simply ignore. So with that as our guiding concept, we have spent the past 2.5 years honing our methodology and developing in-house software to automate as much of the process as possible, because generating thousands of truly unique pages takes a very long time to do manually. It also takes a lot of brain power because you'd have to somehow keep track of what you'd already done, which words you'd already used and which sentences, etc. Now, that's manageable for a small set of pages, but for thousands of pages, it's just too much to keep track of manually. And even with the automation that we have developed, there is still a fair amount of expert-level human oversight needed to manage and implement the process, because it's not simply just push-button software that will magically do everything in one click. It's a series of automations that make specific tasks and computations that would take, in some cases, many months to complete by hand, take just a few days instead. We call this process Mass Optimized Web Page Generation, or MOWG for short, and it works on top of proper on-page SEO strategies. It does not replace proper on-page SEO, it builds upon it. So if you've already handled your on-page SEO in-house, or if you've already outsourced it to another SEO company, that's good. Now of course, if you have not yet handled your on-page SEO properly, we can do that for you as part of our service. And if any SEO consultants are watching this, we don't have to be competitors. In fact, you might consider reselling the service that we offer to your clients as a value add. You go ahead and do what you do, and then have us do our thing on top of that. Our MOWG SEO service will result in your website being ranked in the top 10, in other words on the first page, of Google's organic search results for the target keywords of your choice, as well as hundreds, if not thousands, of variant keyword phrases based on synonyms, geography, and longer tail search phrase possibilities that are similar to or derivative of your main targeted keyword phrase. To use a fishing analogy, in the vast sea that is the internet, a website that only has 5 pages on it only has 5 hooks in the water. However, a website with 10,000 unique pages on it has 10,000 hooks in the water. It should be plainly obvious to you which website is going to quote-unquote catch more fish. I'll show you an example of a website that has had a MOWG run performed on it. Now this is an OBGYN doctor located in Roseville, California, which is near Sacramento. And as her main targeted keyword phrase, she selected Roseville OBGYN. Now if I type that into Google, you can see that she shows up on page 1, actually in 2 different spots. And this is an important point. See, her RosevilleOBGYN.com. You open that in a new tab. Now it's showing up at number 9 in the organic results here. This is her original site. She already had this website up and running before we came into the picture. And prior to our involvement, it was not ranking on the first page of Google. And we have not done anything to RosevilleOBGYN.com. Haven't touched it or changed anything. But yet now it's showing up at number 9 as a nice side effect of what her MOWG run did do. Ranking at number 2 here is RosevilleOBGYN.net. Let me open that in a new window. Now this is the site that was created as part of her MOWG run. Let me pause that video. Now you'll notice that it has a similar but different look and feel. It has the same basic color scheme as her RosevilleOBGYN.com. But you see that her main page over here at RosevilleOBGYN.com just basically has some bullet points on it. But on the MOWG site, there are 5 to 6 paragraphs of text. Now the reason for that is that what we do with the MOWG run is we create a model page. And this, the main page of RosevilleOBGYN.net, is her model page. And then we create thousands of variations of that model page. We achieve that by taking her main key phrase and all of the nouns, verbs, pronouns, adjectives, adverbs, and prepositional phrases and making them variables, and then calculated all of the possible synonyms that still come out grammatically correct to the human eye, and then ran the computations that generated all of the possible variations of the entire page using those different variables, which can sometimes number in the millions if there are a lot of variables. And then we filtered the mass results down to select only those pages that are at least 35% uniquely different from every other page generated by the run. Now, if that sounded complicated, it's because it is complicated, which is why we had to develop some software to automate some of the process, because doing it all manually would just take too long to be considered humanly possible. But the point I'm trying to make is that in order to be able to generate thousands of unique web pages, we have to have enough text to work with to where there are enough variables to allow for that. Now with only the bullet points on her original site, that did not give us enough content to work with. And it is only after the model page is set up with all the proper on-page SEO tactics in place, and we do have a team of experts including an Ivy League credentialed copywriter that can assist you with that. It's only after the model page is in place that our technicians perform the MOWG run to map out the variables, generate the mass, filter the uniques, and then upload the thousands of MOWG pages to web servers for Google to find them. Now if you look here, and by the way, this is a toolbar, a plugin for Firefox called the WR toolbar that allows me to see certain search engine statistics at a glance. We can see that there are just under 3,000 pages on RosevilleOBGYN.net that are currently indexed by Google. Let's take a look at them. This WR toolbar gives me a one-click shortcut basically to the site command, which you can use to see all the pages Google has indexed on any given website, including your own. Just type site and then your domain. Now as we scroll down the list, you can see that each page has a slightly different title. And this leads to another key point. This client wanted to target not just her hometown of Roseville, but also her neighboring communities. This is called geo-targeting. So one of the variables used for the MOWG run was to have Roseville replaced by each of the names of the neighboring communities she wanted to target. In her case, there wasn't any practical reason to geo-target Miami or New York, but for many of our clients who have national or global target markets, we typically use a wider sampling of geo-targets because Google does try to show searchers what it considers to be local results, local to the searcher that is. And as you can see here, Google can tell from my IP address that this is where I am located. Anyway, let's test it out. If I type in, instead of Roseville OBGYN, if I type in Newcastle OBGYN, she actually turns up with 3 of the top 4 results on that page, and there's also the show more results, which gives her additional results that show up on the top of this page. And just in the titles of each of the pages, you can see a small sampling how each and every page is unique. And keep in mind that it's not just the titles that are unique, but all of the text on all of the pages have been MOWG'd for a uniqueness factor of at least 35%. If I click on one of these Newcastle pages, I want to show you something else. The only outbound links on all these pages point to RosevilleOBGYN.com, her original site. And this is how this MOWG run performed on RosevilleOBGYN.net, was able to pull RosevilleOBGYN.com up onto the first page of Google along with it. This is because each of the thousands of pages we generated and put up on RosevilleOBGYN.net serves as a unique landing page, each one geared toward capturing a particular segment of the searching market, and by that I mean all the different possible variations of keywords that searchers might type into Google looking for that particular thing. All of those web pages also drive traffic towards the client's main website. Also, I just want to point out that although RosevilleOBGYN.net is currently ranking at number 2 for the search phrase Roseville OBGYN, this MOWG run was done in January of 2011, and when we recorded our last video at the beginning of June, it's now the tail end of July, it was ranking at number 9, and RosevilleOBGYN.com was ranking at number 10. Now, we attribute that 7-spot jump on RosevilleOBGYN.net to 2 things. First of all, even when the Good Doctor was ranked number 9, she was getting substantial traffic from her listing. And Google's algorithms respect sites that generate traffic and pushes them up in the rankings gradually over time. And the second thing is that Google also recently made some algorithm changes commonly referred to in the SEO industry as Panda or Farmer, which were designed to weed out black hat or unethical content farm websites from their search results. Now, I won't go so far as to say that any of our competitors were doing anything unethical. However, we have seen this on nearly all of our MOWG projects. Google's Panda update actually benefited us greatly. Most, if not all, of our MOWG projects have been climbing in rank ever since Panda was released, which proves that Google's algorithms consider our SEO method to be completely white hat and ethical. This is because we give Google exactly what it wants, which is targeted, relevant, and unique content, and lots of it. One last thing I want to show you that illustrates the power of a pro MOWG run. If you look in these search results, you'll notice that the URLs displayed all have keywords built into them. These URLs in the green here. You can see this even better when viewing your sitemap. Now, in this doctor's case, mainly the keywords being used are OBGYN, her main keyword, and then her geo-targets. Now, the best way to load your URL with keywords is to have your domain name contain your keywords. And her domain name, RosevilleOBGYN.net, does contain her main keyword phrase. But for additional keyword targeting power and flexibility, and or to compensate for a domain name that does not have the main keywords in it, the next best method of loading the URL with keywords is to build keywords into the actual file name of the page and or the folder structure that the page resides in up on the server. And you can see that these keywords are built right into the folder names. Now, our software auto-populates that per parameters that we set when it generates the thousands of pages. All of the MOWG'd variables get inserted back into the model page, and the individual MOWG'd pages, thousands of them, are auto-placed into what could be dozens, hundreds, or even thousands of folders depending upon the specifics of the project. So when it's done, this entire organized hierarchy of folders and files is then uploaded to the server. The sitemap, which is also auto-generated by our software, is also loaded onto the server, and then we submit the sitemap to Google so that they'll begin indexing the entire site. This is powerful stuff. I think by now you can see the obvious benefits and power of the MOWG process. Now, in the interest of keeping this video short, I will now let the rest of our website explain the process in more detail and introduce you to our team of experts, give you some free tutorials on on-page SEO and keyword research, and also show you additional case studies. Our site will also explain how we have recently developed a new strategy that further improves our results. This new method involves spreading a 10,000-page pro MOWG SEO service run across across 10 new domains. One of the many benefits of this is that we can load those domain names with some of your keyword variations for added effectiveness. It's just another example of how we're constantly evolving and pushing the envelope. Now, when you're ready to put MOWG to work for you, contact us for an initial consultation. We'll be happy to take a look at your site and discuss strategy with you so that you can get a better idea of how MOWG SEO service run can benefit you specifically. Thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you soon.